Hello, everybody. Welcome to From One Side to the Other. We are coming in hot tonight, huh? Once again, joined by... Oh, hey, Sean beat everybody else into the chat. Nice. Once again, joined by Jesus, who's back. We got the Bishop in the corner. DJ Scraps is off in the desert kitchen fighting World War III, I think.
No, that's Helldivers 2.
You know, everyone says that, and I haven't tried that game yet.
I haven't tried just because it just came on Xbox, and I don't have enough memory, and I'm still too busy with Border Gates 3. But best way to describe it is
I've heard
Starship Troopers and Terminator had babies, and that's it.
See, that's the example I've heard everyone say is Starship Troopers, which, by the way, I actually liked that book and the movie. Although I feel like the movie really glossed over, 90% of the book, almost to the point of being a different story altogether.
Have you seen the animated one?
I know of it, and no, I'm not.
I have not.
The animated movies are actually pretty
I
good.
just know that the sequels of Starship Trooper are all pretty much dog shit.
I've seen 2, and it was not as good.
I have all
I've
of
heard
them.
3 is a cardinal sin of just so bad. But
Yeah, I really don't remember all that much about those. I remember
Hi,
more
Mr.
about
Bishop.
The first one. But because of the game, there's more interest that's been coming up.
yeah, it's
for
resurged.
Starship Troopers. I'm hoping
It gets people to read the damn book.
that and that we get a reboot, but a good reboot.
See, the problem is that I know 90% of the stuff they cut from the book for the movie was mostly time. So I don't know how they could do more for being accurate to the book without just making a stupidly long movie.
It's more of at least the animated versions, because some of the anime movies were actually pretty good.
I'll have to look it up later. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about tonight, actually, boys and girls. Tonight,
We're not talking about giant bugs trying to take over the planet.
that could come up, actually. But no, what we're going to be talking about tonight is African folklore, actually. Now, I'm going to put a big disclaimer up before anything else because I know this is going to be... Oh boy, this is going to get down, dirty, and complicated.
It's going to get the Karen's
Probably.
Hair riled up.
Probably, but okay. So the problem with addressing African folklore is that it's kind of like talking about Native American folklore. You're talking about a continent that had a few dozen different nations, tribes, countries, whatever you want to call them. And the real problem is that while, yeah, a lot of them have some strong similarities and consistencies between them, they also each have slightly different flavor and context. A very common thing, actually, with them is they'll have the same legend, but depending on which tribe or nation you are getting it from, the ending will be different. They like to change the endings. You know how Greek and Rome almost have identical legends, but they change the names? It's like that. You know what I mean?
Copy my homework. Can I copy your homework? Yeah, just make it look different.
Basically, that's kind of what we're talking about here. But the first thing I wanted to talk about is something that actually, I read this and it was really funny, and it's something I've heard of before, but I had never heard the name that they're called. And I'm hoping I'm going to get this name correct.
Let's be honest, we never do.
I think I'm fairly accurate, actually. Tokoloshi, I believe is how you pronounce it. Some call them Tikoloshi. Toko, Tikoloshi.
Piccolo Yoshi? Oh, Tokoloshi.
Piccolo?
Tokoloshi. So the Tokoloshi, they're kind of like Bizarro Land kobolds. Remember how we were talking about kobolds and how there are these helpful, beneficial little critter fairy folk? But they can be really mischievous, and if you tick them off, they can wreck your shit 6 ways past Sunday. Just ask Krampus.
Or they end up becoming an artificer and have a freaking sniper rifle that can shoot things out of the sky.
I wouldn't be shocked. They're supposedly really good when it comes to skills, which is fitting because they're so closely connected to St. Nicholas, the patron saint of skill and craftsmanship. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. Tokoloshi. They are described as tiny little hairy humanoid creatures, and they range in the stories from a few inches tall Some stories say that they're only 1 inch tall. Some say they can get up to 3 or 4 even, but they're very tiny. Now, what's interesting is that they're considered a fae or a fairy folk.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're very vulgar and nasty little bastards. Hi, Dad. Hi, Connie.
Hi, peoples.
There's a lot of stuff on images that is very weird.
Yeah, these are...
Yeah, most of that stuff looks like we can't even show it because
No. Yeah.
They'll kick us out of YouTube.
Yeah, but anyway, so they're very nasty creatures. And again, unlike kobolds, see, a kobold, if you're nice to a kobold, it'll be nice to you. They're actually very loyal, good spirits. Tokoloshi are not.
As soon as you see them.
Yes, you're actually not wrong. So one big
response was actually correct for once.
So a common thing with them, some explanations are that they are just filled with hate and anger. They are a spirit of hatred. They hate this world, they hate you, and they hate your stupid face.
Is this where Karens come from?
They're like teeny tiny little Karens, yes. Now, they have some magic power to them.
Now I'll post.
There's some... Ow! We got one in the house, apparently. Anyway, they derive power from, get this, eating rocks. It's weird.
Does the rock need to be careful?
Maybe.
Eating rocks, I didn't know they had my cooking in Africa.
Oh, shut literally the hell up. You are a great cook. Oh, my. I thought he was insulting himself, and then he saved it at the last minute. I'll give you credit there.
He's sitting there serving us food.
He's been cooking. Anyway, though, they supposedly, by themselves, they're harmless. They're just teeny tiny little people. But when they eat these rocks, or sometimes it's described as a pebble, swallowing a pebble, they can become invisible, they can get super strength.
Okay, real quick. Spicy? Not spicy.
Okay. I will remember that. Don't touch the blue bowl. Anyway.
Give him a blue.
But, yeah, it's kind of... No. It's kind of one of those things that they're really not that dangerous, except that they're really small, so they can sneak around. But they don't have any special powers unless they eat a rock. It's like taking their vitamins or something, I guess. I don't know.
It's like Popeye.
Sean, of course, that's a great joke, actually. Maybe they eat rock lobster bisque. I like lobster bisque, personally. But anyhow.
It was a rock of lobster.
Anyways, as I was saying, now the thing is, though, like I said, despite their small size, these creatures are brimming with anger and they hate this world. Some have said it's because they actually live in a different world. And they like it in their spirit world.
Okay, let's be honest. Have you ever seen a short person who wasn't mad?
Valid point, but I mean these guys are like furious. Like they're unreasonable.
Again, the shorter they are, the more angry they are.
Valid point. But anyway,
or they're just Oompa Loompas.
Now, the most common thing with them is that practitioners of black magic will summon them to kind of be their minions. Because once you get a bunch of these guys riled up, you can just point them at your enemies. You know, that's what they do. Now, the problem is that they must be contained and then summoned. So, yeah, that's what you have to set up a containment. It's kind of like summoning a demon in occultism, you know? You have to like do a circle of protection and all these different first steps before you even summon the demon. It's the same with these little guys. Because, again, remember, they hate you. They hate everything. So you have to set precautions up when you summon one. And there's never just one. They move in swarms like vermin.
One more thing. Can I show this off? Because I'm really proud of this painting. Look at this. How beautiful that is. Not tasty looking.
Hi, Mom. Yeah, we got. He's making sloppy joes over there. But anyway,
I made sloppy joes. The joes have been slopped.
Cool. Anyhow, there was one interview I read about this shaman dude who claimed that he had summoned them before, and the interviewer asked him, "Well, can you do that now? Can I see you do it?" And the shaman was like, "No. Okay, you have no idea how much effort and work goes into summoning them. I am literally not doing it just to show them off. Okay, because again, you summon them, you have to bind them, and then after they do the job you want them to do, you have to immediately send them back. Because if you leave them here, they will turn on you. And a very dangerous thing about these guys is that they like human flesh. Specifically, feet.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
A demon.
No, the Mummy. I think it was the second one. When they're in the jungle.
Oh, yeah, the little monkey thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the pygmy mummies.
Yeah. That is the second one, yes.
I vaguely remember those. Yeah. Brandon Fraser's mummy was actually pretty cool.
I do like those movies.
But anyway. Anyhow. Yeah, so they like human feet, specifically the toes, but they will eat the entire foot. And that's one of the things that's dangerous about them, because again, it's not their size, it's not their strength. It's that they swarm you, and they're very sneaky. They're very tiny. They can creep up on you. A lot of... Yeah, those little... pygmies. Anyway, though, and it's kind of funny that a lot of the articles I was reading about them, they were compared to gremlins. The German gremlin. I think we talked about we talked about gremlins, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit.
Briefly. Yeah, they're compared to those. Because you do not want these guys around. They're not like kobolds that, are helpful and nice and do stuff. No. These things, literally, they only exist in this world to hurt people. That's all they do. They don't do anything else. They eat rocks, and they bite your feet off. And they're all out of rocks. Now, what's interesting is I've heard some stories say that they, just like they have no real superpowers until, of course, they eat a rock, they kind of don't have any special weaknesses. You can supposedly just fight them. Now, again, keep in mind, this is like fighting a swarm of ants that come at you.
Flamethrower. Which is not illegal to have, and you don't have to get a background check for it. You can actually buy them at most hardware stores.
Yeah, brush burner. What are you talking about? This isn't a weapon.
It's the fastest way to shovel snow out of your driveway.
Amen. But America. But yeah, no, these are weird little creatures because they are prolific all through the African continent. In fact, actually, what's funny is there's kind of a tongue-in-cheek attitude. You'll see Tokoloshi blamed for inconveniences and mistakes and stuff like that. One article I was looking at when I was reading about him actually showed this big sign that said, "Church canceled due to Tokoloshi." And so anytime something goes wrong, anytime you lose something, anytime the fridge is on the fritz or something.
Sorry, I'm late for work, boss. The car wouldn't start. Some Tokiloshi decided to fuck with it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing that's kind of contradictory. See, in some stories, they are kind of stupid, and they'll just go for you. But in other legends, they're very clever, and they will do stuff like chew on and break the brakes on your car. Or another thing that they were very common, supposedly, was poisoning. Supposedly, these guys are really nasty with slipping poison into food or drinks and stuff like that. Because again, their big key thing is either A, they swarm, or B, they're so small they can sneak around and you don't see them. And again, it's a story that they can spread illness through these poisons they have, which is another reason that if you do summon these creatures, you have to be prepared to immediately get rid of them because they need, a second to taint your water. You know what I mean? You cannot play around with these creatures. it's funny because in a lot of spiritualities, you can communicate with spirits and you can broker deals with them depending on what kind it is and what you have to offer. Not Tokoloshi. Tokoloshi don't care about
They just
any.
want to see your manager.
They just they just want to see your manager and then eat his feet and yours. That's the weird thing. I always wonder. I was wondering while I was doing this research because it says they like the feet, specifically the toes. The toes are their favorite. Would they stop at the feet, or do you think that it would be kind of like in a cartoon, you know, where the character just keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter?
Or can you distract them by like having monitors throughout the room hooked up to a certain adult website and just go to the foot section?
You would be the one to bring that up.
I'm not
And see,
feet, like,
see, here's the thing. Well, hold on. I have to counter you there because it's not a sexual thing. It's that's their favorite thing to eat.
Yeah, but
I mean, wouldn't that just be like trying to distract someone with a picture of a Whopper? Well, then again,
they're also stupid. So
well, depending on the legend, some legends say they're really dumb. Some say they actually are very clever.
With this one, we're going with the stupid ones.
The stupid one, it might work. You, Bishop, you were going to say something. What?
Oh, I was just going to ask about how smart are they, but
it's one of those things. It's kind of a coin toss. In some legends, they're very crude and stupid, and in other stories, they're very, very clever and sneaky. But as I was reading up on these creatures, my one thought was, I'd love to see them go toe to toe with kobolds, because that, for me, that was the obvious comparison. They're a bizarro land kobold. But there's one thing that I noticed. These fae, these kinds of spirits, are not shapeshifters. They are just teeny tiny little hairy men. And there are some stories that say they're really vulgar. So actually, now that I think about it, maybe you could distract them with those kind of websites. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
It does say, they're
very vulgar, nasty,
perverted,
yeah, dirty old men, literally.
I would say kick them in the fucking face, but like,
If you kicked, okay,
they might try to bite it.
Yeah, it's a couple
Or lick
inches
it.
tall. I don't
So
think.
I was thinking like golf club.
Ooh, there you go.
4. You
You
know,
get a flamethrower.
any excuse to use a flamethrower. Am I right, guys? Help me out here, chat. There's never a bad reason to use a flamethrower.
Well,
Can you think of one? Can you think of a bad reason?
No, they worked really well during the and World War II.
I was going to say,
In the Pacific.
and one. Didn't they have Flammen? Yeah, the Germans were infamous for their Flammenwerfer.
They were also infamous for the freaking what was it, mustard gas? Do you remember that
yeah, there was a bunch of gas and poisons. Mustard gas was a big one.
Which is a nasty stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that someday. The horror stories of chemical warfare. There's a future episode. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of that's how I wanted to break the ice. Because what's interesting about the Tokoloshi, because again, when I started this, I was saying, it's really hard to pin down African folklore because you have the Zulu people who are very common. You have Guni? Nguni? I
was a
don't.
lie. That would be a good spot for a flamethrower. In a fireworks store.
I know very little about Africa.
Yeah, no,
Throw it in
Connie.
a fireworks store. That'd be perfect.
Are you inside the fireworks store?
You would be for the initial to just
No,
start
shoot
everything
in
and
from
run.
outside. It's like NG.
Oh, I was just looking up names of tribes. Himba, Yoruba, Berber, Zulu, Hadza.
The Zulu are like, everyone knows the Zulu because they went to war with Rome. And they had Shaka, who was cool. It wasn't.
And England.
Yeah, they went to war with England. Wasn't
And yeah, none
Hannibal?
of those countries ever used their freaking spices they took from over there. Who
What-
said that?
You did. Wasn't Hannibal Zulu?
Hannibal Lecter?
Okay, so Hannibal was from Carthage, and that's northern Africa. So
Yeah.
technically
He
would
wasn't-
be in that area, but I don't know if he was Zulu per se.
Yeah, because that's another problem when you address Africa. people don't realize that there's kind of a dividing line. Because you have Northern Africa, which has a lot of influence from the Mediterranean,
Yeah,
and
it's
Egypt and Israel and so on.
It's very Arab. Technically, Egypt is African.
Yeah, it's on the African continent. You don't really see what we call African until you get like more into the Sahara and down. And it makes it really awkward and uncomfortable to try to explain this because there's a lot of ignorant people who think Africa is just a place.
Oh yeah, and then you have to be a certain skin tone to be from over there too.
Yeah, and it's like, no, Africa is... I want to say it's not the biggest continent, but it's freaking huge, and people really take for granted how much is actually there in terms of different cultures, in terms of different history and stuff like that.
Not just that, but the terrain too.
Oh, the environments. Yeah, everyone thinks
like it goes
Africa.
from like a freaking desert to where you can't find jack shit with
A rain.
water.
There it is. There's
to
Africa.
where
Yeah, look at that.
You're getting nothing but rain.
Look at all those borders and like that's hell. That's just modern, isn't it? That's modern day Africa map, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's not even taking into account that pretty much the oldest human life forms we've found have been on the African continent. There's more history on Africa than most other countries. Well, land masses, excuse me, not countries. There's no country called Africa. But yeah, look at the size of that thing. And that's not even getting into the confusing stuff with like really down south into the southern tip of Africa where you find a lot of actually Caucasians, which a lot of people try to say aren't Africans. Like, nope, they're from the continent.
Yeah.
They are from the continent.
We have an example of a very famous person who's from Africa. Elon
Musk. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. He's actually African. He's
Really?
from South
Cape
Africa.
Town?
Huh? Did not know that.
Yeah, no, the farther south you go in Africa, the paler people get. There's a very large Caucasian population, actually, in the southern tip of Africa, but that's beside the point. The point I'm making is that this is a really huge mythology, and unfortunately, like I said, there's a lot of variations to it. There's a lot of history that we can't confirm because it's been lost because of invaders, and just because some of the tribes there just really didn't do a good job recording their own histories.
Or they hated other tribes to the point where genocide.
They destroy. Yeah, exactly. The Civil War, like you could write a library's worth of books just talking about the various wars that happened in the African continent before my folks showed up and started screwing things up.
Yeah,
It's
you
a
and your
huge.
people.
It is
I
a.
can say that because I'm Mexican.
Oh, as if there was never anything from Spain or Mexico.
Oh, please. I hate the Spanish. No, I don't. But
You hate
I do
everything.
wanna go over. Yeah, that's true. I do hate.
But anyway, we're going to get into my second point, and it goes to the example I'm pointing is here is, boy howdy, this is a lot to actually cover. And I want to express that because I guarantee, no matter what story I tell you guys, no matter what I talk about, there's going to be somebody who's going to say that that's inaccurate or that's wrong. And they'd be partially correct because it depends on which tribe we're talking about. Because again, each of these places, each of these tribes, some people call them kingdoms, nations, whatever you want to refer to them as, they had their own takes on the history. Now, a lot of them had very similar things. Like, for example, much like Native Americans, they loved animal analogies. They loved folklore with animals. Now, a great example of this is the infamous hyena. So, amongst most of the nations and stuff of Africa, hyena is always used to represent two things: misfortune and death. What's interesting about hyena is that he's not the sort of death you're picturing in your head. When we talk about death, we picture this very intimidating image. This, the skeleton with the scythe or sickle, depending. Oh, excuse me. And it's this fearsome thing, this dangerous thing. What's interesting about a lot of the folklore of hyena as a character is that he's actually often depicted as this kind of naive, friendly person who very often kind of bumbles and fumbles his way through stories because he doesn't really take anything seriously. What does he have to worry about? He's death. You know what I mean? Like, what does he have to be scared of? You know, so he's this very nonchalant, laid-back, friendly character, actually. Which is kind of an interesting way to look at death if you think about it, you know what I mean? I don't want to go too deep into this, but, like, that is a very interesting comparison and contradiction from how death is depicted in a lot of different mythologies and folklores and stuff, versus it's this clumsy, bumbling, lovable loser in Africa. But he's always getting into trouble. He's always basically being duped. One of the most infamous and bizarre stories, because it splits, and you'll see why that's a pun actually in a minute. This story is told two different ways depending on different nations. One is called scolding hyena, and the other is known as splitting hyena. And so the legend is told as a cautionary tale about being careful who you call your friend. And I'll tell the story in a minute. But it also serves as an explanation to why female hyenas dominate their male counterparts. So basically, here's the story. Hyena thought he... Once upon... So, interesting side note. In a lot of African folklore, it usually opens up with, once upon a time, back when the world was a bowl. Yeah, you think that's weird with, like, flat earthers and stuff like that?
I have heard that, yeah.
You know?
But
How are you? Oh, what are you doing?
Put my foot on my goddamn knee. There we go. Like I usually do, but the fucking table is like right fucking there.
Herculoidian efforts here. Anyway. It's going to bug me now because it's in my peripheral vision. Anyway, so...
Even though I put my foot
once upon a time, when the world was a bowl... Yeah, think about that for a second. The world... Screw your flat earth, screw your round earth, bowl-shaped earth. There's a conspiracy theory for you, that the world is a bowl. Back when the
earth is in.
Anyway, long ago when the world was a bowl, all the animals talked and had jobs, and they fulfilled purpose. Now, one such animal was hyena, who wasn't very bright. He was very trusting and naive. And he thought he had a friend named Mouse. Now, Mouse actually didn't like hyena. Most people didn't, because no one likes to face mortality. And hyena was an eternal reminder to them, you're going to die someday, dude. You don't got plans for the weekend, right?
No, let's do this. Let's go.
Anyway.
What took you so long?
And so, any chance Mouse got, he would spite hyena. He would prank him, he would bully him, he would be mean to him. And one day, Mouse got a ridiculous idea. So he went to his wife and told her, and by the way, I'm sober. I swear I'm sober. He told his wife, hide me inside a ball of dough. I'll give everyone a moment, because yes, you heard me correctly.
That is the dumbest shit I heard. and he's trying to trick the dumbest one there? Oh, that's pretty stupid.
But his wife agrees, and she puts him into a dough ball and takes him over to Hyena's home. And when she gets there, she tells Hyena that her husband wanted her to give him this dough. And so Hyena takes it, he brings it into his home, and his wife sees it. And his wife says, what the hell is that? What is this dough stuff? And Hyena says, I don't know, Mouse gave it to me. And his wife is like, he just sent you a ball of dough. Okay. Better. She says, okay, well, stuff it in the oven, we'll bake it. And Hyena for some reason, I don't know, a stupid tree hit him in the head or something. He goes, no. You don't need to cook food. That's what the stomach is for. I want some of the stuff they had when they made these stories.
Here, I thought the Walmart shoppers were pretty stupid, but...
So Hyena just swallows this ball of dough whole. Say that 10 times fast. That's a tongue twister. But anyway.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. And I guess somehow Mouse realized he was in there because he chews out through the dough and he starts thumping and scratching and hitting the walls of Hyena's stomach. I know, you would think of all the animals that could kill Mouse, it would be death, right? But anyway, so Hyena, of course, is having a stomach ache. And he's whining and he's crying because it hurts like hell. And his wife is literally just standing there watching him. Why, stupid? Why didn't you cook the food before you ate it? And so, Hyena's in pain. He doesn't know what's wrong. I hope they can hear you whispering like that.
Can they?
I don't know. Can you hear him whispering, chat? There's a weird delay with the chat. But anyway.
There is, yeah.
And so he doesn't know what to do. But, yeah. My throat's getting dry. Hold on.
The kobold made us milkshakes, and they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, he made milkshakes. Anyway, though. So Hyena, because his wife won't help him, she's just staring at him like, you deserve this, dumbass. Why didn't you bake it? But anyway, so he goes and asks his friend Bullfrog, what should I do? I swallowed this ball of dough that Mouse gave me. And Bullfrog is like, Hyena, my friend. Quick side note, there is a huge history between Bullfrog and Hyena too, but maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, Bullfrog is dumbfounded because it's like, okay, one, you know that this guy is always messing with you. You know he's not your friend, right? He says nice things to you. No, he's a jerk. He does not like you. Why would you, first of all, accept food from him? And then, why the hell wouldn't you cook it first? So Bullfrog won't help him either. Bullfrog is beside himself with how dumb Hyena's being. And Hyena doesn't know what to do. Finally, Mouse starts busting up laughing in there. Inside Hyena and says, hey, dumbass, I'm in here. This is what, He reveals himself. And Hyena's like, this isn't... Your jokes aren't funny, man. This is really painful.
I would start drinking a shit ton of alcohol.
No, you do like Ash in Army of Darkness and just drink scalding hot water.
Oh, no.
How about some hot chocolate? Ooh.
Just drink like 3 pints of whiskey and you'll kill the little thing. And then you'll be half dead too. But...
Oh, no, you won't. You're deaf. You don't die. Everybody else does.
True.
But anyway, and so Hyena kind of turns it around on him. And he actually manages to make himself puke up Mouse. And of course, at first, Hyena is a bit upset here because this
magic finger.
How he's a hyena? He doesn't have. That's when dogs eat grass, isn't it? Dogs eat grass to make themselves gag.
A lot of times, I believe, yeah.
My mother would be able to tell me. She bred dogs for a while. Made himself eat grass. I get.
What?
Feeling okay over there? Anyway, so he pukes up Mouse.
Like you guys were gonna eat the spicy ones.
Hell no.
I want some spicy ones.
Yeah. There's only 4 left. Here, have
You ate.
Have those. Keep
Look
those
what
from
you
him.
did.
Keep those from him. Anyway.
I'll bring some more salsa over.
And I won't eat it.
Speaking of which, how'd your stomach end up holding up?
You know what's funny is, the day after I did feel kind of wonky, but nothing, to be fair, nothing really that bad. Yeah, eat grass. My mom's backing me up on this. They eat grass to make themselves puke.
These really aren't that questions.
I'm good. Anyway, and so Mouse is like, okay, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. You know, I won't prank you like this again.
That's when you kick him in the face, send him flying. Like a
And so Hyena goes home, and he tells his wife what happened, and she is so mad. She is so annoyed about this. It's like, literally, you let him keep messing with you. You let him keep making fun of you. Why? What? You are big. He is tiny. Kill his dumb ass. She literally tells him outright, murder him. He has constantly disrespected you. He is constantly pranking you. This time it physically hurt. This isn't just, him being mean to you. He physically caused you pain. You can't say this is, roughhousing or shit like that anymore. And so he feels really bad because, again, she's scolding him. Thus the name, depending on where you're from, Scolding Hyena. And he's like, okay, you're right. I should do something about this. I've got an idea. I'll get him back. I'll beat him at his own game.
What are you going to do? Get inside his stomach?
So he tells his wife, put me in a dough ball and take me over to his house and have him... And so here the story splits. See that pun again? In one version, she officially loses her shit. This is the last straw on her nerves. She is so mad. She actually beats the tar out of him. She literally smacks some sense into his head and says, no, that is dumb. You are dumb. Mama's going to take care of this her damn self. She goes to Mouse's home and digs out his... She doesn't even knock on the door. She literally just unearths his den, and she doesn't even eat him and his wife. She chews them to pulp and spits them out and says, this is what I'll do to anyone else who messes with my husband. The only person who should be making him think twice is me.
Remember, children, abuse is abuse, regardless of which side it comes from.
It is. But
when you're stupid and you get something thrown at your head, is education.
there is something to be said about smacking some sense into someone. And so she went back home. By the way, she has blood and bits of mouse dripping out of her mouth still. She looks a fright. She is terrifying. And she tells Hyena, okay, I'm in charge now. You listen to me. Okay? I'm the brains here. Got it?
Hyena's the face.
And so the moral of the story is that that's why female hyenas are in charge. Because in a clan, which is what a group of hyenas is called, females are the alphas. And supposedly it's because of the fact that Hyena was a dumbass and was going to try and hide himself in a dough ball to prank Mouse the way Mouse had pranked him. Now, in the other variation, she actually is like, okay, fine. You know what? You're so dumb, I'm going to let you screw up. And so she puts him in a dough ball and takes him to Mouse's house. And when Mouse sees this hyena-sized dough ball, he gets a knife and splits it up.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's why it's splitting hyena or scolding hyena.
I like scolding Hyena a lot better. I feel so bad for Hyena.
He is a lovable loser.
He is the example of you stupid, you die.
That is a good
What
one,
is it the
too.
kids say? Fuck around, find out? Something like that?
Yeah, what was the one that we used back in the day? Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. But it's funny is that's kind of Hyena's MO. He's like this naive, good intending person all the time. unless you piss him off. He can get mad. He can be pushed to a certain temper. A great example is the legend of Anu Levi. Now, Anu Levi is an interesting creature in itself, and I'm pretty sure I'm mispronouncing his name. But he was a demon. And like a demon, a monster. He came from the darkness beyond the edge of the earth.
You mean the shadow area, because everything the sun touches belongs to Simba?
See, it's funny you should say that, because he actually is described as being a lion.
Hey!
So Anu Levi was this big lion who had claws and fangs made of iron. But what's interesting about him is he also had wings. They were wings like a bird, except they didn't have feathers.
It's a chimera? Did his tail have a snake on it?
No, he didn't have a snake tail. Like I said, he's described as a demon. No, he has iron claws on his and fangs. I want to say it was pronounced Anu Levi. But anyway, he was this terrible demon. And in the legend, all the animals are afraid of him. Because whereas normally, animals have to kill and eat each other and stuff like that, whatever, Anu Levi killed for sport. And what's really strange is that he would attack someone and then take their body to the edge of the world, and they'd never be seen again. So he had a lair way off on the edge of the earth.
Sounds like some cat behavior.
Right? And basically the animals were all divided on what do they do about this demon. How do they confront him? What can they do? Because he can fly. And on top of that, he's a lion. A lion is already, incredibly dangerous to fight. And now you have one that can fly.
Unless you're white. Then you think it's a giant kitty. Or if you're in a vehicle, which is a cool thing, because when you go to one of those animal sanctuaries up in Africa, as long as you stay in the car, you're perfectly fine. The lion, big cats will come in, climb in, and ask for scratchies. Yeah. But if you're not in the vehicle, you're free game.
Yeah, they know inside these machines is not food. But anyway, and some of the animals actually are like, well, maybe we can appease him through worship. We'll serve him. And all the animals were divided on this. And finally, it was Hyena who actually spoke up and was like, you're not going to appease this creature. He's not killing for food. He's killing because he likes it. And there's no hope against this thing. You're not going to reason with him. He's not going to stop. And the animals actually asked him, because again, Hyena is deaf. And they ask him, if we go and confront him, will we die? And Hyena was actually like, well, one, I'm not supposed to tell you when and how you'll die. That's against the rules. And two,
yes,
I don't know. See, Anu Levi wasn't from the world. He was from beyond the world. He came from the edge of the world. So he didn't fit into the circle of life and all that crap. He was an outsider.
And cue the Circle of Life song?
Basically. But like heavy metal. Anyway. And so the problem with him is that Hyena couldn't prophesize or know what he was going to do or who was going to be killed by him. So now, not only is he really powerful, not only can he fly, but literally death itself doesn't know what happened.
I'll be acting like a cocky jackass.
You would literally scream Leroy Jenkins and just run right at this bastard.
Fun story about that.
Oh God.
I was playing Borderlands. And then me and my friend, and his wife were...
This is a really good... It's kind of more of a smoothie than a milkshake.
We were all playing, and then I yelled Leroy Jenkins. And she's like, what's that? And we had to stop. And we both realized that she's like the youngest one there. So we had to explain what it was. And she still wasn't getting it. So I pulled up the video and handed it to her. And while she was watching the video, I'm like, oh shit, I did a Leroy Jackson in the game. And triggered the boss fight.
Oops!
Nice.
Anyway. And so Hyena tells them, we have no choice. We have to confront Anu Levi. We have to destroy him. And all the other animals are like, are you crazy? No, there's no guarantee of success. You don't know if we'll survive fighting him.
He's like, but I will.
Well, no, because here's the thing. Hyena is mortal. Hyena can die. He dies in splitting hyena. Hyena can die.
I don't like splitting hyena.
No, I don't like that version either. It doesn't really have a moral. I mean, okay, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it does. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, stupid will die. But anyway.
That's
sorry.
not a fun moral. Anyway, though.
It is a good lesson to know.
Shut up. Anyway.
Like,
Well,
don't stick a fork or a knife into the fucking outlet.
Oh, and don't use a flamethrower to shave your eyebrows. That's a good one.
Who is stupid enough to do that? You don't aim the flamethrower at you. You aim it at someone else.
You aim it at the Tokoloshi.
You aim it at the cave with all the goddamn Japanese in there.
I knew someone who blew off.
That is a reference to Vietnam's. Not Vietnam's. World War II. Damn, Mama, I am sleepy.
Anyway.
I knew someone who blew off their eyebrows with a potato gun. Because
I can believe that.
They opened the back to see if there was a potato in it, and they clicked the igniter and just flame right in his face.
I know a friend of mine. We found out that sawdust is flammable.
Yep.
And it can catch on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how fine it is.
Mhm.
So a buddy of mine got a jar full of sawdust, and we were playing with it, and he got his arm.
Anyway.
Ouch.
So all the
buddy of mine let his pants on fire when he lit his fart on fire.
We were talking about that a couple of weeks ago, weren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
The last week's show, yeah.
Food ghosts. Anyway, though, so all the other animals are too afraid to go. And finally, Bullfrog steps forward. And this is actually how Bullfrog and Hyena became friends. And Bullfrog's like, well, if we stand around and wait, it's a guarantee Anu Levi will just kill us off, pick us off one by one anyway. If we go and fight him, there's a hypothetical chance that we could maybe beat him. I mean, he can't truly be unstoppable, right? Everything has a weakness, right? And Hyena was like, in theory? Because again, this is a creature that literally shouldn't exist. It is a thing from another world. Anu Levi came from the darkness beyond the edge of the world. He doesn't exist in nature, quote unquote. But they had no other choice, right? So
The Third Reich had a weakness. It was the cold.
anyway.
In America.
Anyway, and so they're like, well, it's just me and you then. So Anu Levi always takes his prey to the edge of the world. So he has to have a lair or something there. So there's as good a place to start and checking, right? And so they went on a journey together, just the two of them, because no one else was brave enough to do this, to the edge of the world. Now, it should be described that this edge of the world isn't like most edges. Because remember, the world is a bowl in these stories. So there's these great big mountains that surround the world.
In other words, literally Lion King. When Simba
The lion demon.
went over and he found a pack of hyenas.
You're thinking
And
of
the boneyard.
Scar. Scar was the lion that had the hyenas.
Yeah, but when Simba went over, all he saw was a bunch of fucking mountains and a goddamn boneyard.
Yeah, see, that's
And a bunch of hyenas.
that's another thing that it's described as. The edge of the world is described as being gray. Gray. Nothing is growing. All the trees are dead. It's just gray land and mountains. And so they're looking around. Because, I mean, all they know is that his lair is somewhere at the edge of the world, right? Well, here's the funny thing. He kind of... Anu Levi kind of screwed up because he would, of course, have to leave his lair to go and hunt and kill stuff. So he left a bodyguard, a minion, to guard his lair. Crow. Who is another animal that has a long, nasty reputation against hyena, but that's a whole other thing. Crow...
Because hyena got him fired.
Basically, Crow had done what some of the other animals wanted to do. He traded, being taken off the menu, at least for now, in return for servitude. And so Anu Levi let him live. In return, he would guard the lair. So the funny thing is that Hyena and Bullfrog, who have no idea where they're going or what to do, they found the lair because they found Crow. And Crow attacked them.
What was it?
If he had
the
just...
Valentine brother is like not keeping a secret patch. It's hidden with a bunch of guards on the outside of it.
Yeah, exactly. It was the fact that there was a guard that told them where the hell the lair was.
By the way, that was from Halcyon Bridge. Very funny.
Oh, hilarious. But anyway, and so Crow is like darting at them, pecking at them, and clawing at them. They have to duck behind a rock. And they're like, okay, what do we do? Now, Bullfrog's like, how do we fight this thing? I mean, he has the advantage. He's literally in the air. Can we kill him?
Service to air missiles.
I'm pretty sure a couple of animals in African folklore did not have any surface-to-air missiles.
Hey, not with that attitude.
Anyway, and Hyena is actually like, no, calm down, Bullfrog. No, we're not killing anyone except Anu Levi, okay? Look, he's just scared, okay? He is not the problem. We are not just murdering anyone in our path, okay? This is not when he is supposed to die. I will not kill him. This is not his time. Bullfrog, meanwhile, is hiding behind a rock. Well, he thinks it's ours! And then Bullfrog gets an idea. He's scared, right? He's only doing this because he's afraid. He's a coward. So Bullfrog gets an idea. He jumps out from behind the rock and he goes, stop! Hold on, wait! And the odd thing is Crow listens. And it's like, what?
It's a bad minion. They're supposed to listen. They're supposed to follow orders.
Bullfrog tells him, you better run away because I'm just as bad as Anu Levi. And Crow's like, you're an itty bitty little bullfrog. How are you as bad as Anu Levi? And Bullfrog tells him, well, I'll swallow your soul. Crow's like, I'm sorry. What? What the
bullshit?
Bullfrog shit. And so Bullfrog's like, oh, yes, I can do it. You'll fit easy. Watch. And he did that thing where frogs make their throat bulge out.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time I see them do that, I just want to poke it with a needle and see if it pops.
You're horrible. Well, here's the funny thing. Crow sees this and is like, what the hell? Wait, what? No. Wait.
Retreat.
Yes. He runs away. He flies away. And so Bullfrog's like, that actually worked? That actually worked. Better at this hero business than I thought. And so Hyena's like, see, I told you, we don't have to kill people to stop this. And so they go into the cave that Crow was guarding, because, I mean, he's probably going to come back. You know, they got, it's not a full-time thing here. And the cave is filled with skeletons.
Boneyard.
All of his victims. And Hyena is overcome because all the victims of Anu Levi, their souls are trapped there because of the bones. And this is these are all souls that died not at their time. This is a huge problem. And Bullfrog figures out this must be the source of his power. This must be how Anu Levi is so dangerous. He's tapping into all these souls. How can we free them? Well, in lore, in African folklore, your soul is bound to the earth by your body. That's why Hyena has to, because again, hyenas are scavengers. They eat corpses. In order to allow a soul to pass on, the body must be destroyed. And I guess the skeleton counts, so the souls couldn't cross over. So Bullfrog's like, well, okay, my time to shine. And he starts hopping, jumping on the bones to break them and smash them up. And sure enough, it starts allowing the souls to cross over. So Hyena is able to see the souls off and let them go. Bullfrog breaks all the bones. Meanwhile, way off somewhere else, Anu Levy is flying through the sky looking for someone to kill.
Oh, no!
When for the first time in his existence, he felt pain. And his wings shattered like they were made of glass.
Called it.
He fell to the earth. And apparently he actually hit so hard it shook the world because all the animals realized, whoa, something's going on.
Did he do the Yahoo?
Wilhelm scream. He Wilhelm screamed. You are now picturing an African demonic lion falling through the sky.
While holding a sign.
Do you think he built up so much speed that like he had the fire burning like a comet?
Yeah.
And just
there's just a crater of his outline of his body just in the ground.
Well, see, that's the thing is he immediately figured out what happened. He's like, somebody broke my bones. Somebody took my souls. And he was furious. And he let out a roar that was so bad it scared the sun out of the sky.
Punk ass bitch.
I noticed there's a trend with the story of people being scared and things being scared.
And things being punk ass bitches.
Anyway, so darkness befalls the land. And Anu Levy goes up onto a mountain peak and is demanding who took his bones, who took his souls. Those were his. And-
Keepers, losers, reapers, biatch.
And so, meanwhile, Hyena and Bullfrog hear this because he proclaims it so all the world hears that he demands to face whoever took his bones so you can replace them. And Hyena is like, well, here we go. This is it. Time for the boss fight. We had our epic quest. Cue the music from Doom.
No,
No.
For a story like this, you need Tenacious D.
Tenacious D.
This is only Jack Black.
Only Jack Black could handle something this awesome. You have a demonic...
This important.
It's important. This requires a song by Jack Black.
It requires a specific song.
Beelzebub
Tribute.
boss?
Tribute.
Tribute.
Well, anyway. And so Hyena's like, well, this is how the journey continues. We can't just... Okay, he's lost his power, so what? He's just going to kill more people and trap their souls. What's the difference? We have to fight him. Bullfrog's like, but do we have to? I mean, even without his souls, he's really big.
Tenacious D.
And he still has claws and fangs of iron. I mean, dude, we can't do this. And Hyena tells Bullfrog, you've been a better friend than I could ask for right now. But we have to go and fight him. Now, either you fight him alongside me or I go alone. And Bullfrog didn't know what to do. But Hyena didn't give him a chance to answer. He just went off and was like, hey, Anu Levy, fuck you! I broke your bones! What are you going to do about it?
Punk ass bitch.
And Bishop is bleeding over there.
Word for the day.
This is my little brother loves that movie, by the way. But anyway, it's fun.
Tenacious D was a perfect reference.
See, I still think Beelzebub is the best song there.
No, because like Bullfrog being a bitch, and one of the songs, he's like, he's gonna take you to hell and he's gonna make
that's
swallow
Beelzebub.
He's gonna make you swallow his mayonnaise.
Gargle mayonnaise.
That's Beelzebub.
Oh no!
That's Beelzebub. I love that song.
This is not the song. This is just a tribute because we couldn't remember.
Yeah, that's a different one. But anyway, and so Anu Levy pounces, and Hyena ducks out of the way, and even without his souls, this demon is so strong that he rips this huge gouge into the earth. And he is furious. And Hyena actually... I'm going to give Hyena credit here, because everyone talks about how Hyena is so dumb. He goes straight on Elijah here. He is in a bad situation. Thousands of odds against one here. And what does he do? He talks shit. He talks trash. And actually mocks Anu Levy. It's like, those big iron claws of yours aren't really effective if you're not strong enough to swing them around quickly. I mean, I literally can just step out of the way. It's kind of pathetic. You had all those souls, and none of them were yours. So Levy is mad. He is angry, and he's like,
Karen Haircut comes in.
Instead of
his manager,
his mane falls out, and he just gets the overcomb. little mustache grows on. But no, he's like, you think I don't have any power anymore? I will show you power. And he actually summons this huge rainstorm. So it's starting to flood. And this actually is important, children. Remember this. He's causing flooding.
He's making us our river.
And he's still trying to attack Hyena. Hyena is still getting out of the way. But the ground is becoming muddy, and there's these huge gouges in the ground where these iron claws are striking. And unfortunately, Hyena slips in the mud. And he's trying to get back up to his feet. Anu Levy pounces for him again. Bullfrog shows up and jumps, because that's one of his big things. Bullfrogs hop. He jumps and slams into Hyena and knocks Hyena out of the way. But he's so small, because again, bullfrogs aren't that big actually. Anu Levy sails over Bullfrog and falls into one of these deep gouges that he dug into the earth, which is now flooding and filling with water.
He just drowned himself.
Yes! Because those big heavy iron claws and those big iron teeth in his mouth, they weigh down and drag him to the bottom of this lake that he accidentally made.
Like a dumbass. Roll for insight.
Net one.
That's a net one, my dude.
Well, now hold on.
Roll for survival.
What?
That's a net one, my dude.
Well, now hold on. Let's be positive about this. I want to make an argument here. Yeah, I think Anu Levy definitely rolled some ones there. I want to give credit to Bullfrog. He did the right thing, and that has to be a net 20 on dexterity. To jump and tackle your buddy out of harm's way, and you have them miss you. Because I mean, you see what happened. You see what was happening. He listened to Piccolo and dodged. Well, no, I mean you get the point of the story. The idea is that Bullfrog finally wasn't afraid. He didn't let fear control him like everybody else was afraid, and he saved his friend. Now, supposedly that lake is still there, and Anu Levy is still down there because he's a demon. He exists outside of life and death. He can't die.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
I would not want to drag him up. I don't think it'd be a good thing.
Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
What? Well, okay, hold on. Stop. I'm going to stop this right here. What would you do, pray tell, if you actually dredged him up from that lake?
Oh, we both know I'm not going to do jack shit. I just want him out just so he can spread chaos. You know this.
I know. You realize you'd be the first person he would kill.
Who says I was going to fish him out? I was going to get some fucking dumbass to do it for me.
Why did you point at me?
I said dumbass. I didn't point at you. I pointed it in your general area.
So, we here at the Vagrancy Horror are taking applications for a new Mexican.
You ain't going to do that. You went all the trouble to go to West Virginia to go get me back.
I know, and I kind of regret it. But
no, you don't.
And yet you're sitting here helping yourself with sloppy
God damn right, I'm getting hungry, damn it.
You know, it's funny you mention food because I have a story about food. Oh, what are you doing there? Oh, something's happening.
I was going to show the food.
Oh. Well, let him make it first. So, and it's funny you keep making references to like Dragon Ball Z and stuff. So,
go on. I am an adult.
So
most of the reference I've been making, I've been to the
abridged.
Like
I like both versions, honestly. But anyway, so if telling weird stories is my superpower, there is one story I know that I would have to say is my version of the Kamehameha wave. It is a story that I am reluctant to tell because of how powerful it is. I mean that sincerely. You live two lives. One before you hear this story, and one after. I'm dead serious right now. I know there's only like a dozen people in the watching this stream right now. But this be biggest jungle swing in history.
You're gonna be a Karen after the story's done.
It hurt very much. But me do it. I am dead serious when I say that I think there could actually be repercussions for me telling this story.
It's gonna make a Karen.
It's going to summon them. So, if this is the end, you think I'm being dramatic and I'm being funny. I'm dead serious. I think that if I tell this story, there could be backlash.
You know, I haven't dealt with a Karen in a while, so go ahead, do it.
I knew he would be the one saying, do it, do it, do it. But if we're doing this, we're doing it right. So, Earthlings. Basically, end of the channel. Here come the drums! Because this is the legend of the 4 champions. If you got the reference, by the way, you are officially in the cool book. If you didn't get the reference, go yourself. Anyway.
We'll do that later.
I hate you so goddamn much. Anyway, that was Doctor Who, by the way, the master. Here come the drums. But anyway.
You know what's funny? I've only seen a few episodes of the Doctor Who.
Same.
Like, don't get me wrong. It's I liked it. It's just,
honestly, I would say watch it until the 13th Doctor. From the 13th Doctor on, it just obviously declined. But anyway, no. We're doing this. We're shooting ourselves in the foot and telling the story that I have been explicitly told not to tell.
And who told you not to tell?
A manager at Walmart, actually.
Which Walmart? Or which manager?
What was her name? The fat bitch.
Cody?
Cody, yeah. Anyway. So, long ago, there were 4 champions who all lived in a village together. They were all friends. The first champion was known as the Horny Champion, because he had the most bumps on his forehead in all the land. The second champion was known as the Long Champion, because he had the biggest penis in all the land.
I'm trying to make references to see which managers you're talking about.
I literally just told you. Anyway, the third champion was known as the Windy Champion, because he was the most powerful farter in all the land. I'm just watching for his reaction because he's eating while I'm telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and the fourth champion was known as the Ballsy Champion because he had the largest nutsack in all the land. Thank you for telling me it was Doctor Who. Love you, Mom. Anyway, and so these 4 champions all lived together, and one day they decided to go for a walk. Well, as they were out walking, the elder from a neighboring village saw them and went, "Gadzooks! Look at those freaks! My village doesn't have any weirdos like that. You know, I bet if we had champions like that in our village, we would be prosperous. People would want to move into my village. I need a way to make them stay in my village." He got an idea. He got an awful idea. So he called out to the 4 champions, and he said, "Hey, you guys! I've never seen such magnificent, incredible men like you. Please, you have to come to my village and let us give you a feast in your honor." And so the champions are like, "Free food, sounds great, sure, let's go."
Sounds like something I would say.
I mean, well,
Then again,
I don't think that's how you ended up in West Virginia.
we don't talk about that.
Anyway.
There were
So-
nice people, though.
So the 4 champions go to the village, and they were all set and ready to have this wonderful feast, and everyone was happy to have the 4 champions there. But there was a problem.
There was not enough food.
No, they weren't prepared for it. They hadn't gotten the grain off of the stalks. So the first champion stepped forward and said, "Hold on, I got this." And he took the grain in big fistfuls, and he dragged them across his forehead, and he shucked the grain right off the stalks. And everyone was happy. But there was a problem! they didn't have any mortars and pestles to grind up the wheat into flour. So the second champion stepped forward and said, "Stand back and watch me work." And he took his schlong in one hand, and he took all the grain.
I would not eat the grain.
He took all the grain into a big bowl, and he used his penis to grind the grain up into flour. And everyone was happy.
I wouldn't be.
But there was a problem. The chickens weren't prepared. No one had taken the feathers off of them. And so the third champion stepped forward and said, "Hey, check this out, y'all." And real quick, I'm going to stop here. I swear to you, you watching this right now, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I swear on my grandfather's tomb, this is what the book said when I read it. The champion stood, spread-legged, bent over, unbuckled the flaps of his drawers, and let rip with such force that small children were knocked over, windows slammed shut, and whoosh! Yes, the whoosh was there. Whoosh! The feathers were blown right off of the chickens.
You know, G makes a good point. Where the fuck did you read this?
That's my mom, by the way. Actually, would you believe it was a book of African folk tales that I got from a library in Logansport, Louisiana. Anyway,
Of course, I'd be
So-
in Louisiana.
so all the feathers have been blown off of the chickens, and everyone was happy. But there was a problem. Oh, you think that you
The chicken smelled like ass now?
No, they were able to cook the chickens, and they were able to make bread, and they were able to make this great feast.
Yeah, bread with hepatitis B, C, D,
Oh, I
a little
think
bit of crab.
thanks to that second champion, I think there was a lot of D to worry about. But anyway, but there's a problem. It's getting dark. The champions won't be able to get home in the dark. So the elder, he's like, "This time I got them. They're going to have to stay now. They'll have to stay. This is great news. I got what I wanted." Until the fourth champion stepped forward.
Oh, what's this dude gonna do? Bounce his way home?
Oh, it's so much worse. He stepped forward and said, "All right, I got this." And so, and again, I'm going off the story, he stretched his foreskin back. And the other champions took all the food for the feast and dumped it down his scrotum. And they carried the food home in his nutsack. And
No,
back...
normally I would be mad about some shit like that and I would stab a bitch. But
The bishop is hiding his face.
the fact that he used his schlong to make the flour, which now has whatever fucking STDs. The dude farted on the fucking chickens and they probably fucking smell and taste like ass. Yeah, no, go ahead, go take that shit. That's all you, my dudes. That's how AIDS spread around the world, ladies and gentlemen.
It gets better.
And that's how they made mustard gas.
It gets better. So, with the food in his nutsack, the four champions were able to rush back home to their own village. And now the elder from the other village is at a frickin' feast. Thanks a lot, guys. And back home in their own house, safe and sound, they were able to enjoy the feast together. Now, children, boys and girls, it is important after this story, you should ask the listeners, which was your favorite champion, and why do you think he was the best? That's literally what the book says. The book says, ask your listeners, who was their favorite champion, and why do you think he was the best champion?
2?
The second champ? The long champion?
I guess. It seems like he did the most work. The other guy just dropped his pants and farted.
That, and then the dude with the fucking warts on his fucking face.
He just dragged some weed across his head.
Yeah,
See, I would argue he was the least bad.
Still, like, you don't know how he got them horns from.
See,
What
it's
kind of
in the
disease he
story.
has.
In the story, it says they're bumps.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
in other words,
warts.
Fucking warts.
Oh my
Ugh.
God. Sean is sitting there. The Windy Champion was obviously the best.
You just told this story to make Jesus stop stealing all our sloppy joes.
No, I was planning to tell this story from the get-go. It's just perfect that he started eating.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
I got hungry and I'm like, let's eat this. Meh.
Are you still hungry?
I'm still gonna eat it, but like, this is how AIDS became a pandemic.
Well, remember what he said. There are 2 lives you live before you hear this story. after.
My mom has an interesting point. The elder was the best one. He was just trying to help his village.
No, he fucked over his village.
He got all his food stolen.
Got his food stolen, traumatized the children, the women.
The children who got knocked... No, it specifically says that small children were knocked over when the Windy Champion farted.
Yeah, those are the ones that got traumatized.
Was there therapy in ancient African tribes?
Probably not.
I hope
He
after
made
this...
the men envious. The women were like, "Oh, no." The men were like, "Why can't I have that?"
Well, no, come on. I'm putting a gun to your head here. Favorite champion, and why was he the best?
None of them. They all sucked.
Bishop?
The long champion, I feel he did the most work with his long...
Spraying that fucking AIDS around and shit.
See, I'm going to make an argument here. I think the horny champion was best. Because he was the least horrible. Because, see, here's the problem. After this story, my first thought was, how did they get the food out of the guy's nutsack?
Someone had to dig in there.
Why? What? And you read this from a book of African
Folktales. Yes. No, okay, so...
No. This is what
Let
you
me
need.
explain. Let me explain real quick.
This is what you need to be worried about. It's folktales.
Mm-hmm.
Most parents would read stories like that to their kids, and most parents would just start reading.
Mm-hmm.
Some poor kid somewhere got traumatized by this.
Whole villages. Because, again, it's a story you're supposed to
And
tell to people.
You know, a parent was reading it. Halfway through it, they went, "What the fuck?"
So
And
I have a
continued.
question for you. What was your point of no return? What point did you realize this story was that horrible?
The moment you fucking started it.
Right from the opening.
I guess the long champion, that's when I realized, oh no, this is going to be...
Vulgar and gross.
Hey, like the toka... What are they?
Yeah, Tokoloshi.
Tokoloshi.
They're supposed to have huge... Yeah. They're
They
supposed
would love this story, probably.
Yeah.
They'll be like, "That's one of us."
Well, no, the champions were good. Tokoloshi are evil. They're filled with hate.
Sure.
Could you distract a Tokoloshi by telling them this story?
I'm kind of curious what would happen. We were talking about Anu Levy and how Hyena and Bullfrog fought him. Maybe Hyena should have just started telling that story to Anu Levy and he would have just jumped in the lake on his own to escape it.
I would have jumped over the edge of the earth.
Gone back to the darkness.
Like, I'm out.
This world's too weird for me.
Poor Jesus.
I didn't intend for it, but I'm glad that it happened.
You got one sloppy Joe down, you're just staring at the second one on your phone.
I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, don't get me wrong. We're a bunch of weird assholes, and we listen to weird shit. But there's weird, and there's just like, what the
The four
fuck?
champions.
That,
Now, okay, to explain how
In my mind, this is how AIDS became a thing. We all know it was some dude who fucked a monkey, but we know it was this.
Oh my!
It was this.
Oh my lack of a god. Okay, so to explain real quick. When I lived in Logansport, Louisiana, I was working on building my mythos for the first time. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to tap into mythology, because that's really what I was making. I was making a mythology. So I literally read anything, any mythology, any folklore, anything I could find at that library in Logansport. Which, real quick, by the way, shout out to the Logansport City Library. That is literally the best part of that entire damn town. Now, it's not a steep competition, I'll give you that. But the fact of the matter is, the Logansport Library is a gem in a pile of garbage.
Yeah, they've been traumatizing children for years.
There's a part of me that hopes that
Decades.
book is still there. I hope that book is still there. I really do.
I can see that book still being there. I can see a Karen going up there reading that shit. I've read this filth to my kid. And the librarian being like, whatever, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, you know what? It's a legend. It is a piece of history. It's gross. It's vulgar. However, it is still something to be learned. And you know, in a weird way, hear me out on this. Does it really have a moral? No.
Fuck no.
Is it particularly appropriate? No.
Did it teach the world how AIDS became a thing?
No. God damn it. But here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to defend this story on. You cannot deny, you watching and listening to this, you guys standing here, you can't deny that this is an experience. This was something that happened in your life.
Yeah.
And I guarantee there's not a lot you could probably think of that would compare to this.
I'll always remember this story. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Here's the thing. And that's the thing. Sometimes
I got a bottle of whiskey at the house.
you're going to just
I
try and forget
remember
this whole
shit.
damn night.
We were having a good show, and then you had to fucking tell the story of how AIDS became a thing.
It's about teamwork and being friends and not being a class traitor.
See, I knew Sean would come. Sean gets it. Sean understands. Because it's like I've been saying this since we started this channel. Stories have power. And whether it's a traditionally good power or it's a strange power or even a bad thing, that power should be respected. And that's why even bad stories like The Four Champions deserve to be remembered and deserve to be shared. You know what I mean? Even if it's a bad lesson of an example of this is not how you tell a story. This is not a good topic. It still has that value.
Every
And
copy of that story should have been burned at one of those book fires.
absolutely not. Book burning is barbaric and wrong. Period. Yes, even that book. Anyway.
I didn't say that book. I just said that story. Just that story itself. It's just probably a page or two.
Oh no.
There you go.
No. Nope. All stories have some kind of value, and even if it's only on principle, no, book burning is wrong. We can argue about this. But anyway, as I was saying, I know somebody is going to probably be unhappy about that story, but no, before you get too mad and you go and sit there and flag my channel, I know you will, Karen, if that is your real name. You guy in the bushes, I see you over there.
I am the manager and fuck you.
I'm the manager. It's my channel.
Yeah, but I get to deal with the Karens.
Fair enough. I don't want to. You know, before you get angry, just keep in mind, again, that story was a unique experience. And I know a lot of people will probably be like, I hope I never experience another story like that. Oh, wait,
I
hold
want
on.
to say that, but knowing you probably have another 5 somewhere.
I'll find more. I'll find more horrible ones. I am the archiver of shit.
You're going to say one, I'm going to end up smacking you one day.
I'll find one from Mexico. I'll find a Mexican story to tell that's just raunchy as all hell and has a dude with a giant penis that he uses it like a mortar and pestle. I love the attitude of the second champion, though. Watch me work! You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, he would.
the enthusiasm, the energy.
My question, do you remember the author of the book?
The book itself, no.
Someone had to go out of their way to
Find
these
that
stories.
story and actually preserve it. But I still love how it's actually a story that you're supposed to talk to people about it. You know what I mean? It's not just a story to tell.
A teacher goes there trying to find a story, finds that, tells it to their elementary fucking students.
See, my mom and Sean are both kind of making. Yeah, it's a story about teamwork.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and again, even if it is a bad story,
I mean, it's funny.
it's funny.
It's dirty.
People's reactions are. The best part is people listening to it. You notice how long it took him just staring at that burger, by the way?
Yeah.
It's just wrong.
Oh, that was beautiful. I love that story so much.
I like the story of scolding hyena better, but yeah, that was
Golden
good.
Hyena was way better.
Scolding Hyena was way funnier.
Look, I'll admit, I had no idea where that last one was going to be going, and it was not where I thought it was going to go.
Sean says, I'm still a Windy champion stan, but I think the real hero was the ballsy champion. The ball.
Man, that food's all going to be fucking salty, sweaty, hepatitis-y.
How's that sloppy Joe? How's that sloppy Joe, Jesus?
Not salty. Or moist.
But anyway, folks. What I don't know how to follow up the Four Champions. That is a story that is. I love that story, and like I said, that is like my Kamehameha wave. That is maximum power. You know, it is so fun to tell that story. And again, it's mostly the reactions. I love people's reactions. Like I said, your life changes when you hear this story.
Yeah.
It is so bizarre, so gross, so strange, so just why that you can't help but kind of it worms its way into your heart. At least it did for me.
My question is, who came up with this and what the fuck was going through their mind?
I wish I could just put bubbles above your guys' heads because it'd be like Jesus rethinking his life right now. Just the expressions on your face.
It's just like, why?
My mom brings a good point. It's a damn shame we weren't having chicken. Would you be able to eat chicken?
It probably wouldn't taste like ass because I'm not fucking cooked it. So, yeah. But again, like, why the fuck did I come today?
For the free food.
The free food?
And you didn't even have to use your dick to grind up flour or fart on chickens or stuff it down your pee hole.
And now Jesus is wondering why no one else is eating these sloppy joes.
Why am I friends with these people?
You know what's funny, actually? I was thinking about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember how we met.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know we worked at Walmart together. But I don't remember, like, how that started.
I don't either. Like, literally, it was just...
You both started as cart pushers, right?
No,
he was AP. He was a security guard when I got there. I don't know. It was...
I know I talked to Silver a lot.
You talked to Silver first. Yeah, you knew Silver. But no, I don't honestly remember how we really met. It was just kind of like, one day, he was my beaner.
That happened to a lot of people, to be honest with you.
You know what's funny is... Oh!
You know, I thought that you were going to hit me with that because I got you with the ball earlier.
I know it was you.
No, I mean, it was this one over here.
No.
Hi, Choopy. What did you think of the story? It was great. Tell it again. Everyone will be... Yes. Yes, you will think of this story the next time you have chicken. You're welcome, everyone. We'll see you next week. What are we doing next week, guys?
Thinking about life choices, I guess.
Therapy, psychiatry.
Happy therapy.
Happy thoughts.
I'm Hispanic. We don't do therapy. We do beer, or we do tequila, and Vicente Fernandez.
You know, that's actually not a terrible idea. You know, we talked about mad scientists before, and Sean's bringing up Jacob. Jacob, who would
talk about mind quacks.
More mad scientists and mad experiments. How about that, guys? What do you think? Everyone's like can't talk, busy convulsing from the story.
I think Jesus is just like mentally shut down right now.
I'm like, man.
He's out of it. He's out of it right now. No, they're coming for me.
This is what fucking shuts us down, apparently.
Anyway, though, no, you know what? How about we do like we did a couple times in the past? Let's let it be a surprise. It'll be a surprise next week. But in the meantime, boys and girls...
Probably won't be a happy surprise.
Is it ever here?
No.
This is, of course, my buddy Jesus. We got the bishop over in the corner.
Hi.
my dear doggos, famine and gluttony, Choopy here, who really should be actually, you know what, Choopy, get back over there and flip the switches and push the buttons and stuff. Anyway, I am your host, Kristoff N. Chester. I'll see you next week. Please don't sue me. And as always, keep checking the shadows.
He ripped ass on those chickens.
Hey, at least we're ending with the laughter, not him getting smacked again.
Yeah.